Jemima opened her eyes and leapt from the couch at him. The pair flew backward and crashed into the wall behind them. "You're starting to get on my nerves," she shouted and punched him in the stomach, cracking his armor with the blow. "This is not your fight," he shouted and pushed her backward. "You're right, it's mine," Harriet said, and blasted him again with her radiation, sending him crashing through the wall and hurtling into the building across the street. Harriet got up from the couch and flew across the street to where her opponent had landed. She looked around for him, and then took a blow to the head after he'd teleported above her. Harriet flew out of the building and recovered in mid-air. "I must destroy you for the good of the city," Dementia's knight shouted to her from the building. "But I'm a hero, I'd never do anything to hurt this city," she told him. "My master informed me of your plot to destroy the city," he told her. Harriet shook her head. "Your master is mistaken. I'm a defender of the city. I fight for it, not against it," she said. Dementia's knight stood silent for a moment, thinking over her words. "I did find it odd that you were fighting the Hellions earlier, but I assumed it was over territory," he said. "So you believe me?" she asked. He nodded. "Were you really a villain, you would have attempted to destroy me, and caused much loss of life in the process," he said. "I give you my sincerest apologies," he said with a bow, and teleported away. Harriet flew back to her apartment and sat on the couch next to Jemima. "What a day this has been," she said. "So he's gonna leave you alone now?" Jemima asked. Harriet nodded. "Yeah, he's gone," she said. "I wonder who he was, and who his master is," Jemima said. Harriet pulled the girl close to her. "Best not to worry about it, for now let's just rest up for tomorrow," she said and carried Jemima back to the bedroom for the night. Richie Davies sat in his office. He'd just received word from Dementia's knight that he was discontinuing his attacks on Harriet, and now had to inform his bosses of the failure. He picked up the phone and dialed a number. He tapped his fingers nervously as he waited for someone to answer. "Is it done?" the voice on the other end of the line said as it answered the phone. Richie swallowed hard. "No sir, the attempt failed, and our assassin has broken his alliance with us," he said, thankful that he didn't have to give this news in person. "I don't like failure, Richie, especially when it's failure in a mission that could save this city," the man said. "I understand, sir, and I assure you that Half-Life Harriet will be taken care of before she can do any harm to the city," Richie said, loosening his tie. "See that she is. According to our intelligence, we only have 2 weeks to stop her before she becomes unstable," the man said. Richie nodded. "I understand, sir. Still no word on what will cause her to go rogue?" he asked. "I'm afraid not, which means that we have to stop her before it can happen," the man said. "I understand, Mayor. It'll be dealt with soon," Richie said. "See that it is, and make sure that it's not traceable back to us," the mayor said and hung up the phone. Richie hung up the phone and sat quietly in his office. "This is just what I need," he said and shook his head before starting work on his plans against Harriet.